Hello, everyone. I know that people are joining right now. We had a technical issue. That's what we call Zoom technology and the new era we're living in. So I'm just going to let people get in the session, and then we'll get started in a minute or so. We did change a little bit of the program to make sure that we accommodate, and we will finish on time at 1:30. So I'll leave you just a few minutes. Okay, just to make sure that we can have enough time for our program. My name is Sabine Soumare. I'm the Executive Director of the Women Entrepreneurship Knowledge Hub, and I'm very pleased to be here with you today. Today's session is very important because it does mark the Black History Month, and we're here with two partners, special partners. So first of all, we have the Trade Africa Trade Desk, who have been supported and obviously organizing this event with us. And also Export Development Canada is here to present their services. But before we begin, I would like to very quickly, but it's important for us to first and foremost acknowledge that the work we do, takes place on the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, which is now home to many diverse First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples. Our partners across Canada similarly gather on the traditional territory of many Indigenous nations who have cared for this land since time immemorial. And I will just now let Suzanne say a few words about her organization, and then we'll pass it to EDC. So Suzanne, over to you.
Good afternoon or good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for hanging in there as we waited. It is a pleasure to speak with you this afternoon and to share this space. I had a little presentation ready, but we're going to skip over that. Sally, if I can maybe show a slide or two, that will be lovely. Africa Trade Desk is essentially, as the name suggests, we want to increase the traction between Canada and the rest of Africa. Trade is very imbalanced over on the Canadian side, and we want to increase those conversations. So we do this by hosting forums like this, doing trade missions. We have a trade mission coming up into East Africa in the month of May. Perhaps we can share that information there. But basically, the best part that we want to do is to make sure that we are talking about the opportunities, talking about why, like we're going to have briefly here, why the trade is not happening as it should, even now with the help of the Continental Free Trade Area. This is 1.3 billion people that we are missing out on. There is a cost to that inactivity on the Canadian side, but we will have that conversation for another day. For this afternoon, we have too much rich content that is waiting to be shared. So I will go ahead and stop it here, and we'll get to you, Miriam, on the EDC.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Sabine. Thank you, everyone, for having me today. It's really a pleasure. I'm going to try to share my screen because I have a little bit of presentation here, but I'm hoping it's going to work. I don't know what's going on this afternoon. So let's see, because I've been trying to share this for a time. Anyways, I think I'm going to go ahead and obviously I'll share my presentation with Sabine, and she can share it with you all, so you will see some good pictures. But I think it's, overall, it's better if we hear and we can actually connect with each other. So hello, everyone. Again, my name is Miriam Francisque. I'm the National Lead for Black and Racialized Exporters at EDC within the Inclusive Trade team. I will start my presentation with a little bit of an overview of EDDC and what we do. So again, Export Development Canada, and how we help Canadian businesses, as well as our strategy and commitments to Canadian diverse-owned and diverse-led businesses. So I will also quickly touch on the overall inclusive trade strategy with a focus on Black and racialized communities, because we're talking about Black women in business here. And I will move on to outline a little bit of the financial tools, and I'm sure everyone is a little bit anticipating what I'm going to share with you on financial tools and knowledge solutions that EDC offers. So obviously, I'm really happy to answer questions at the end of this presentation, and I'm sure after the panel. Ma présentation se fera en anglais, mais évidemment, vous êtes les bienvenus. Si vous avez des questions en français, ça me fera plaisir de répondre en français. So EDC, what it is EDC? EDC, for those of you who are not familiar with what we do, we are the Export Credit Agency of Canada. We're 100% owned by the federal government, and we've been in existence for 75 years with a market presence in over 20 regions and 21 countries worldwide. So we use our knowledge on international trade and experience with global buyers to take on and manage significant risk and level of risk for Canadian companies. And I will tell you later how we do that with our products and solutions. But before that, I'd like to a little bit debunk some of the misconceptions about exporting. We help only exporters, but we also help all businesses that are selling into global supply chain, which would classify as indirect exports. So the direct exporters are the ones that are traditional and service-based, product-based exporters that are selling into other countries, but also the ones indirect exporters that are manufacturing or selling services that will fit into the manufacture of products and other services that would be exported. So this is the direct exporter. So in fact, we help companies of all sizes in all sectors, whether they are traditional or non-traditional. We're very much involved also in the tech space. So I know we hear a lot about manufactured products, but also digital space. We're very involved in this. EDC is not providing support to business alone. So you need to understand that we work with an ecosystem of partners. We work with the Business Development Bank of Canada. We work with the TCS, the Trade Commissioner Services, with business support organizations, with financial institution partners, and all the other ecosystem trade partners. So business support, again, organizations that are helping the businesses grow and access knowledge and capital. I quickly touch on it. I know we're a little bit short on time, but I really want to provide more additional information about our inclusive trade strategy. So as we know, we're talking here about women, and we're talking about Black women. So their intersectionalities. We know that women-owned businesses encounter more gender discriminations, sexism, unpaid work, the responsibility and burden of care of all part of society. And we know that the Black and racialized community is encountering, again, systemic discrimination, racism, lack of trust, and lack of relationship with financial institutions, lack of personal community, wealth, and tendency to self-finance. So this is a big learning curve for EDC and knowledge gap. And I believe not only for EDC, but really society at a general. Some reports and studies, and I'm sure you've seen the StatCan report that just came out last week that provided verified information and data on the Black and racialized communities and business community. But our organization is really trying to tackle the challenges that not only women, Indigenous, but also Black and racialized communities are encountering while trying to grow their businesses here in the market, but mostly abroad. So quickly, how we're trying to do this. So our approach is to ensure that we are inspiring and building awareness. So we're building on 5 pillars: inspiring, building awareness to entrepreneurs like yourself. So like what I'm doing today, what EDC does, how can we help you? How can we maybe connect you to the ecosystem? To educate by providing more of the knowledge and skills that will help build and export with confidence. Because again, we find that the educational piece is very important and critical to all businesses when you're trying to not only grow, but also connecting and exporting, when it comes to regulations, when it comes to logisticals information, when it comes to even working with distributors or intellectual property. There are a lot of knowledge pieces that we're trying to bring, through partners, obviously, and sometimes through our own teams internally, but that will help the businesses really being equipped to grow better. The third piece is providing connections. Both the ecosystem and the organizations that, like ourselves, the governmental organizations can help you with opportunities internationally. So for instance, a good example is WEKH, so Government Global Affairs Canada and TCS, the Trade Commissioner Services. They will help you to connect with global suppliers, with global buyers, with procurement teams, and also with the entire ecosystem. So we're working in all of this together. And we find that sometimes it's very challenging for businesses to navigate the ecosystem. You don't know where to go. You don't know which door to knock on. We're trying to have a no wrong door policy. But again, it's, these concepts are a little bit new. So, bear with patience, and I'm sure the ecosystem will provide you with the resources that you're looking for. And finally is the last piece is really to empower with our corporate support, with equity, diversity, inclusion, and economic empowerment broadly. Again, it feels that we're talking about something that most organizations and government is talking about. It feels that it's a hot topic right now, so we're in a hot seat, but we're building a momentum. I can just say this, and all financial institutions also are aware that our communities need more listening ears, more support, more access to whether it's knowledge and capital or different type of resources. So the empowerment is happening. And obviously, we can discuss through the panel with our other colleagues later on. So now the piece on our solutions, what EDC provides that is so critical to exporters. So we provide the knowledge solutions, some expertise that will enable you businesses to make informed decisions and learn more about international markets. But we also provide the credit insurance. So the credit insurance is a financial tool that will protect your profits and balance sheets by ensuring you against the risk of non-payment by your customers. So again, when you go abroad and you're selling to a new customer, a new buyer, you don't know, sometimes you're vetting the buyer, but something can happen. They can go bankrupt. You need to protect your assets. You need to protect your account receivables, and the credit insurance does that. So it's very simple. There are a few eligibility criteria for sure, but this credit insurance is really one product that is a favorite among our exporter clients. We also offer financing services. So we offer guarantees that will provide more access to capital through your banks. We only provide the financing products through financial institutions. So again, you need to have an account manager, and you need to have a bank that will be able to connect with EDC and acquire the access to our guarantees and products. But this, again, once you have it, can provide meaningful access to capital. And the last piece is really the connection. Not only we have internal teams that are working with global buyers, but we're working again with the Trade Commissioner Service that will allow you to connect with different types of buyers, whether they are large retailers or smaller, or even cooperative internationally that are seeking for Canadian procurement. So it's again those opportunities that will make your business happen. I don't know where am I at on time, because I do have a few pieces here, but I just want to maybe complete the picture by saying that, and I will very be happy to provide you with the PDF so everyone has the same level of information. But it's really where EDC can play a driver role onto connecting the businesses within the ecosystem, and also providing the access to the knowledge piece and the capital. We're not providing grants, but we provide, so our team put together a guide, a grant and funding guide that will allow you to see sometimes where you can navigate to access some of the products and services that you're looking for. So again, I think I will stop here. I had many more, but I think again, because I'm so excited to have the panel discussion, I'm just gonna stop here. I'm gonna just tell you that if you want to connect with me, I'll be happy to answer some questions, and to, as I said many times during this presentation, connect you with our partners and building your growth with you. So thank you again for having me.
Thank you so much, Miriam. I think, as you've mentioned, as you mentioned, we will be sharing your slides, so more information to come, but already you did a good overview, so that's super helpful, I'm sure, for many women entrepreneurs who are here. So now I'll pass it to Suzanne to moderate the panel, present the panelists, and then we look forward to hear from you, ladies.
Thank you so much, Sabine. I think in the interest of time, we're gonna let each one of you ladies briefly introduce yourselves and the business that you do, so that our participants can get a little bit of an insight of what exciting work you're doing, and then we will jump right in. I'm going to go with the person. I mean, like, my screen is different from everybody's. Evelyn, you are first on my my right hand side, so you're gonna introduce yourself, and then pass the baton to the next ladies. If we can try to do it in like 3 minutes or less, that way we can be able to get some good questions in there. Go ahead, Evelyn.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me and for organizing this event. I'm Evelyn Nyairo. I'm the founder of Eli Bianca. At Eli Bianca, we are manufacturing natural skincare with a mission and vision of creating that global connection of empowered women. I often say that young girls are not going to be the women they don't see. Black women, the young little Black girls are not going to be the Black women that they do not see. So we have that responsibility to ignite conversation, break those barriers, so that our daughters and granddaughters can see what is possible for them. So excited to be here. Pass it on to Karima.
Hi, everyone. Great to be here. So thank you, Evelyn, and also thank you to Miriam. Suzanne, great to see you. Sabine, always a pleasure. So I'm Casey. I am the founder and CEO of B2B Match. I'm based out of Toronto. I do a lot of international business from the start. So B2B Match is an AI platform that connects businesses together. It helps SMEs mostly save time, money, and effort as they grow and as they scale. I like to say that we take the hard work, stress out of business networking and lead generation. We also offer enterprise feature now to Chamber of Commerce, industry associations, large organizations around the world. And although we are based out of Toronto, the platform now has companies from over 85 countries and 160 industries, and it is bilingual French and English. So I will pass on the baton to Emma.
here. My name is Emma Todd. I am the CEO of MMH Technology Group, and we do consulting, we do marketing, and we do events for blockchain companies. We also do crypto mining, and we primarily work mostly outside of Canada. We do have Canadian clients, but we operate mostly in the US, and I'm happy to be here. I'm going to pass the baton to Ingrid.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you for inviting me for this panel today. My name is Ingrid Agbato. I'm located in Quebec. I think that I'm the only one here. I'm the founder of Kumo, which make the link between my native country, Benin, the economical capital is Cotonou, COO, when you take the plane to go there, and Montfort for Montreal. We provide fashion handmade accessory for men, women, and kids with a particularity to combine printed fabric from different parts of the world with plain fabric available here in Canada in order to create an openness to other culture and to learn a little about others.
Thank you, ladies. That was very beautifully done and short and sweet. And it is amazing work that all of you are doing, and it's so good to be here now. We are going to really get into the meat of why we are here. Miriam, thank you for that presentation about EDC and what EDC can do. But even with that presentation, we know that, and it's a fact that women entrepreneurs, especially women entrepreneurs, have limited access to funding. So I'm going to throw this to you, Emma, as a first response. Where do Black women go to get funding? I know most of them are not going to EDC or to the regular banks. Where do people go for funding?
So that's a very good question. So I want to tell people who are actually going and doing raises, you need to go to EDC. They really do. I didn't know until last October. A friend of mine told me, because she did an actual raise and she went out and she got investors, that EDC matches investments up to 5 million. What? I mean, I'm not saying I have 5 million, but I'm saying if you're going through a private investor and kind of investor, they will match. And I know you're not really broadcasting that out there, Miriam, but it's a big deal. It really, really is, because suddenly someone who is doing a raise and they're doing one for, like, I don't know, 50, 60, 100,000, you can double that, right? You can get to 200,000. If you're doing one for 2 million, you can double it, get to 4 million. They do it all the way up to 5 million. That is fantastic. For everyone who's looking for other means, you have, and I absolutely love this organization. I'm a part of it, the Phoenix Firehood. They look for women. We are looking for women who have companies and looking for funding. Primarily, you need to be Canadian, so it doesn't apply to anyone else who isn't Canadian. But if you're looking for that, the Phoenix Firehood, it was launched last year, September. They will give checks in between 100 to 250,000 to businesses that qualify. So that's always, I think, very, very helpful, because as you guys know, women have a hard time getting funding and it's only getting worse. So I am completely happy to be part of that organization that is helping with that. Really, I'll just leave it there, because there's one other, but I know somebody else probably wants to talk about that one.
I'm glad you said what you said, Emma, but in everything that you said, including going to EDC, the key word in there was to businesses that qualify.
Right.
We know that most of the the women entrepreneurs that we're talking about, the businesses, a lot of them have challenges with that word qualify. Whether it is, I know, because we are currently looking at women exporters and people who will go to the trade mission, but even with the can export and all that, there is that line of businesses have to make at least $100,000, and most of our businesses most of the businesses we are talking about here do not meet that. So can one of you other ladies, I'll go with you, Casey, talk about, before you hit that, can businesses qualify? Where can Black women entrepreneurs go to find some, access to money to help them to scale up to that 100,000?
Hi, Susan. So I'm probably the worst person you can ask that to, because I'm the most vocal, outspoken one about the fact that we don't have enough money. What women, Black, if you take me, Francophone, it doesn't matter. Everyone says there's money. I'm in tech, I'm in AI. Everybody says that you can get even more money when you put the word AI in front of everything you do. I haven't seen the money. I'm going to be super honest with you. I think we need to have stronger networks. We need to also have the one that get there, have more concrete solutions, which is what I'm trying to do with what I do. But quite frankly, there has to be almost policy specific, and I'm not talking about what we saw 2 years ago. I'm talking about real policy that puts money in our pockets. Otherwise, something is going to happen is talent is going to move, and we're going to go to the US to find money. And this is what I'm doing. On Monday, I'm actually going to the US. So this is the reality of things. Is Canada gets smaller checks, the barrier to entry is extremely high, and then when you get there, you're never there. So it's almost like a looming target that moves that constantly.
Thank you, and I'm loving the raised hands. So this means that we have touched a nerve even as we get started. I'm gonna give you a shot at it, Miriam. I think your hand came up first, and then we'll give the other two ladies a chance to speak as well.
Thank you, Susan. So if I want to take a little bite at your question, so I'll say that my answer is a little bit twofold. The first one is, where do women and do Black women go to access financing when they're at a startup level, or they do not have revenues that are too high? In the market and within the ecosystem, there are different partners that offer small loans, small grants. There is Space that offers microloans, for instance, in partnership with BDC and RBC. There is Futurepreneur for the ones that are under 39-year-old that can access some loans. And obviously, there are different Black entrepreneurship programs embedded into the financial institutions and some credit unions. So I'll say that typically when you don't know where to go, connect with your local organization that is working for you to really connect the network together. Typically, and this is what I find, is that Black women in business, even though they have their own support system, it's harder maybe to expand the network wider and larger. Some resources are available, and and this is what we're trying to build up, a guide where you can find, the resources that you need for access to capital and access to knowledge. So, some partners are there to help, and the eligibility criteria are different. So yes, we've heard, the mainstream, products or capitals are not pretty much accessible to Black, to racialized, and to women because of all the historical barriers that we know about. So now with these inclusive trade strategies all across, there are some more flexibility here. I know there's still progress to be happened, but it's coming. And if you knock on some doors, and definitely, feel free to knock on our doors, where we can connect you with some of our ecosystem partners. The second one, and I heard Karima saying, in tech, you don't know, you don't find. even when I'm going back to, yes, you mentioned, Emma, the ITIP, so Inclusive Trade Investment Program, which is the matching program for investment, inclusive trade. So that addresses women, Indigenous, and Black. And for the Black piece, it's pretty much focused on Black tech, only Black tech. And there are some VC funds that are pretty much dedicated to only Black tech. And then I can even say, as an example, we recently funded a platform, in Ontario that is, again, very much dedicated to Black tech. So, and it's been, 1 in a million, right? So it's a little bit new, but it's opening up. So again, I find that for Black tech, there are a lot of different resources. There is a platform of organizations, people, businesses that are growing steadily, and even that are growing with Canada and with Africa. So that's another piece, but we'll touch on that later. But I hope I answered a few questions.
Thank you, Miriam. And we are really going to, I'm sure our listeners and our participants are going to be really looking out for those slides and your presentation, so that we can find out, dig in deeper. I want to give you a chance, Ingrid, to weigh in here before, and then we'll go to Evelyn before we go to the next question.
Thanks. What I have to say is that when you are just startup level, for my example, what helps also is to go through an organization or business launching program. Because with a business launching program, you can get access to a list of organisms. And also, when you get a network, by example, to get my first loan from Futurepreneur, I went through Yes Montreal. It is easier. What I understand, it is easier when you go through an organization, because the organization gives you a letter to support you to apply to the loan, and they go quickly. That is what I noticed. Is go alone is not easy, because you do not have time to understand all, and also the limit of age is a big challenge too, because most of the women launch their business when they finish to make kids, or about 30, 35, 30, and the limit of age, most of the loan and grant, it is 35. It is not easy when you want to apply and you are older. And also depend on the field you are working, there is different kind of grant also. By example, in Quebec, we get SODEC when you make, you are crafters or handmade or music or cultural domain, you can get grant. It is subvention, then it's not loan. Also, that can also play a little bit of role when you are looking for fund.
Thank you, Ingrid. Evelyn, I was trying to mix the two names together.
Yes, I can agree with a lot that the other panelists have said. There are several avenues that entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs can access funding. The big challenge is that, especially our Black women, those avenues are not clearly communicated. For example, here in Alberta, we have several grants that are given by the provincial government, but they come and go very quickly. Unless you are part of that mailing list, you will end up missing it. So provincial grants are there to support, push at the beginning. There's other smaller organizations, whether it be, Venture for Canada, that will help with funding students, to help you, give you that support. But that is a small part. We are not going to be here building small businesses. We are pushing to build, larger enterprises. So if that is the goal, we have to really take a step back and have the conversation of these qualifying. Why are we not qualifying? How did we get there from that qualifying? And how do we fix that problem so that we can also be, because if we're talking about inclusive economy where we can fully participate and showcase, that strength and resilience of a Black woman, then we want to be playing in the same field as everyone else. So I've been talking lately about, my mother actually threw this on me and said, you can never invest on a bottomless basket. So before we are talking about this money, how can we fix this basket so that when we put the money there, it's going to hold?
Thank you, ladies. And there's a recurring theme in every answer. Much as there's opportunities everywhere, Black women entrepreneurs are still feeling left out because of either the hoops or we don't know where these things are. We can testify that most of the Black entrepreneurs we're talking about, they're busy running the business in the best way that they can, running from here and here. So keeping track of what program is where when there's no real central piece maybe is part of the challenge, and those are some of the pieces we want to address. Now, I want to go ahead and leave it here. I saw that all the hands are down, so we can move on to the next question, and as we keep on teasing this information out, maybe we can, by the end of this hour, have something that our participants can action on. Now, there are various needs in the ecosystem of entrepreneurs, but what are the most pressing needs? So we're going to follow up on Evelyn's answer and attack that piece of what are the most pressing needs. Karima, I would like for you to take a stab at that first.
No problem. I would like to just also differentiate between two types of groups of businesses, which is something that I found on the ground is, are you making a product and selling it? So tangible, versus are you building a service? And I found from the beginning, building two different companies, that when you have services, it's going to be hell on earth for you, because you don't specifically if you don't have a track record, because you need to showcase and prove even further as a Black woman that what you're selling is going to be sustainable and growth. As Evelyn said, we're not here to build small businesses. And one of the things is, from a Black business perspective, is we build businesses. We don't build Black businesses. I don't build a business for Black people. I build a business and it works for everyone. So I actually spent a good 6 months of when I started my business, explaining to people that my business was not a community business, that it was actually a business for everyone. It was not a woman business. It's actually a business for everyone. So I think the pressing needs in terms of the community is, one, we have to be savvier collectively in digital and tech. And we need to understand marketing, because marketing is mostly what people are going to see before they even see your face. Right. And then what we absolutely need is money. It's there's no two ways about it. We need money. We need money to start. We need money to scale. We need money to hire people. We need it is business. So we need money, and we need understanding of what business is.
That is a good one. It's simple. We need money, we need money, and we need money. Does anybody else have?
Well, I said we need marketing too. I didn't just not money, but we need to be able to sell ourselves as well. And that's something that I see missing a lot in our in the larger communities.
Yeah.
So yes.
Thank you. Emma, I'm going to give you a shot at this first.
Okay, so in addition to money, because I don't know if we said it before, but you need money, money, and more money. You also need, you know I'm right. You were so right about that. We also need a good community to sort of help you, that you can bounce things off of. That is very underrated. People don't realize that, because sometimes you think you're doing something right, and then you have your group and you talk to them and they're doing the same thing, and they're like, no, you are underpricing yourself. And that is something that people always run into. You don't realize that you're not charging enough, or that you need to watch out for this or watch out for that. And so that is also very helpful. And then the third thing I'm going to touch on, mental health. Like I always use, and I use this example at least once a week. When you're an entrepreneur, sometimes you're laughing, you're thrilled, you're celebrating, you're crying, and all within like 2 hours. Like it's just, you know, the change that you go through just because of the ups and downs that you have. It's really kind of absolutely crazy. And if you like when I first started being an entrepreneur, a lot of my friends weren't entrepreneurs, and they were very like worried about my state of mind because they were like, oh my God, you're all over the map. We don't know, like, do you need to talk to somebody? And I was like, my entrepreneurial friends tell me that this is normal. And then someone sent me like a little cartoon, you know, like you're up and all that, up and down, up and down. So,
Yeah.
but before I knew that, I was like, what is happening to me? And my friends who are working in corporate were very, very concerned. So I think also need to, you know, have someone you can talk to. Mental health is great. And I find that when you have that community, they sort of provide all that, so you don't think you're going crazy. So it all comes back to me, community. Community will also help you find money. So they're really kind of there, and they help you with so many things. So community is very important.
Thank you, Emma. Ingrid, I'm going to go to you because I see your hand is up, and we are now talking about what the most pressing needs are. So we have money, we have community. Let's have your addition to the list.
Okay, yes, I want to say that except money, we need a network, a support network like mentor, coach to introduce us, because you can get the money, but when you go to like in my field product, to go to the retailer, they're not first time. You have to try hard a lot, and you have to be ready for a long run. If not, you will despair. It is better when you have someone who can introduce you, who know your product, and speak with you. That's like a shortcut. I know that people say that avoid shortcut in business, but sometimes it helps, and we need that kind of help too.
Thank you. So we need big sisters and cousins and the community around us to do those introductions. But you touched on the mentors as well as the mental health professionals. Evelyn, what is your addition?
Yeah, you know, I can really agree with what everyone has said. And a lot actually that I was going to talk about has been touched on. But really the key to success is, you know, really building or having support that builds business models that can withstand challenging times like the ones we're in, so that we're not the ones that are hurting the most. But also business models that can be sustainable in the long run, that can be scaled. So that support at the beginning is really, really, really important. And it costs money. I mean, ultimately it costs money to be able to sit down with a strategic planner to help you create a business plan that can withstand the storms. More importantly, just like Ingrid mentioned, it's having those partnerships that can actually vouch for you, people that can open doors. Because oftentimes, you know, when I'm presenting my skincare brand, people say, oh, you know, you're that girl with lots of degrees that makes ethnic products, right? Oh, do you make this in your kitchen? So I have to qualify it by saying, oh, I'm a biochemist. And by the way, our products are sold here and here and here, to be able to be accepted. So another piece is also, how do we normalize Black? How can we be seen as, and also, because part of that is also helping us, you know, come out and present our services, our products with confidence. How do we normalize Black so that we're not seen as a brand or a product or service that is catered to a certain group. I think there's work to be done there. And I think, we need to challenge these corporations as all of them are coming in and making their ESG commitments. We need to challenge them and say, if you're talking about equity, you're talking about inclusion, what does it mean to you? And what efforts are you going to make? And if some of us have gotten that opportunity, how do we make sure and say, hey, sisters, come along. We have a responsibility to build our own economy as well.
Thank you, Evelyn. And Miriam, I'll give you a minute or so to add on this, because then we can at least put in one more question before we get some questions from the audience. This is such a rich conversation. So go ahead, Miriam.
Thank you, Susan. So I will just add a little piece to everything that I've heard, and myself being a former businesswoman as well. In Europe, it was a little bit different, and I was more a little bit like Karima. I was offering services and providing services, and I made connections. I think I spent probably my first year in my business making connections, ensuring that I have clients. So even when I had my website, the clients were coming in through endorsements and referrals. So that's another part, but the branding and the confidence. And I hear you, Evelyn, when you say that people are saying, oh, but you're, cooking out these products in your kitchen. And so what? I think we need to build our own branding and confidence about what we're doing. A lot of businesses that I've seen, even with EDC or other economic development corporations, they started in their kitchen. They started at home. They started, going around with their little basket and asking, knocking on doors. I think that we need to be confident about what we're doing. Yes, this is how we grow a business. A lot of those large corporations that are here in Canada driving the business and the economy here, they started as, knocking doors. So we need to be comfortable with the idea that even though we are Black, even though we're immigrant, even though we can be Francophone or from other, ethnicities or even tribes, we are growing businesses. And this is business that we're talking about. And the second one is really the knowledge legacy. I think that I hear on and off, yes, we don't know how to navigate. There are other businesses that have been through the same hoops and that are going through the same challenges that you are right now. And I find that within our communities, it's really about not reinventing the wheel, not redoing the same mistakes, because they've been done already. So let's try, and I know a lot of organizations are thinking the same, how can we capitalize on what others have been through and what we can see that we can provide as information? And that kind of feeds into training, knowledge, hands-on skills, mentorship, obviously, that will, help the business grow, but in a way that it's very much informed and knowledgeable about the market, about some products or services, and about, export in general as well. And yes, preparation. Even when you go to a bank or financial institution, I know, Suzanne, you're gonna just stop me, but you need to be prepared. Because again, we're saying money, 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 we need money. But if you don't know how you're gonna spend your money, if you don't know where you're gonna spend your money strategically, money will come in, but you won't be able to really maximize and optimize the capital that you're receiving.
Thank you, Miriam. And Karima, I see your hand is up. I'm gonna let you go ahead, but also as you give your comment on this, I would like for you to comment on where the opportunities are to scale. You told us about the two types of businesses. Perhaps you can also talk about briefly where the opportunities lie to scale.
Excellent. Thank you. Very quickly, I think we have to turn anything, and that's so part of scaling into the US and part of going into the US for funding have been part of many conversations. So again, you have your main temperament, which is mine as a business, as an entrepreneur. I'm not shy. And even if I'm scared of something, I'll do it. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I've been in markets where I knew no one. I went into meetings where I knew nobody. I think what I want to impart a little bit to our Black women, our sisters, is we have to turn anything that is obviously a difference, your name, your language, your accent, whatever it is, into strength. And it doesn't matter. You have to literally, go for it, because at the end of the day, everything will be an issue for not doing business with you if you kind of agree with them. Okay, it's not even about not letting them do it. It's, if you agree with somebody who says to you, your business is for Black people, well, say, educate them. And what I found is with time, guts, a lot of courage and resilience as to never say no, never give up. Literally, you will change that narrative extremely slowly. And I get it, it's very tiring, but you have to do it. As to where to grow and scale, I mean, it's such a large question. I don't know, but what I can tell you to help is be savvy in social media, be savvy in marketing, be savvy in digital, because that is where you can do a couple of things. One is do it yourself if you only have that to do in time, which I highly advise you don't do. Two, hire companies who can help you, hire consultants who can help you. It's a game of to be seen, to be heard. It's, your business needs to be out there. And if you don't have the budget to hire, a PR team, a marketing, a marketing firm, you can be savvy enough to at least start slowly and up that rung, as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you so much. Now we're going to take some questions from the audience, but I also want to let our participants know that our panelists will be happy to answer some of your questions, or all of your questions that we haven't gotten, that we won't be able to get to because of time. If you go ahead and forward your questions, we'll make sure that our panelists get to them and can forward you the answers, as well as any other information related to their businesses that you might want to find. Now, Sally, I wonder if you could, if we have any questions in the chat, if you could read them out. Otherwise, as if we don't have, then I'll ask our panelists another question.
Hello, yes, so we currently have a question in the Q&A box.
Yes.
There's one question here. How do you all maintain your health and wellness as an entrepreneur? Most importantly, your sleep health.
Who wants to go first on that one? I see two hands. Evelyn, I'll let you go first, and then Karima, and then Ingrid will weigh in. Yeah. Oh, yeah, unless your hand was just stayed up. Yeah.
No.
Okay. So Evelyn.
One of the things that I have to say is, just because it's a business, please don't get married to it. Because if you don't take care of yourself and lose yourself in the process, then you're not really reaching out to that mission and helping, others and, building that Black enterprise that we're looking to see. So make sure that you are selfish, you're blocking time and getting your exercise, being very diligent and not having your phone in the bed, like I'm preaching to myself, not going to bed with your phone. I started practicing leaving my phone in the living room, because then when I get into my bedroom, I know that I'm heading there to sleep and I'm gonna sleep, and I'll wake up, and if somebody was burning, they'll call 911. So be selfish, make sure you maintain the exercise, and just have the you time. The other thing that I do is just taking mini breaks throughout the day, like just going on mini vacations in my office and just closing my eyes for 5 minutes and just getting that meditation and Zen moment throughout the day, because it's not easy. But remembering that it's just a business, don't lose yourself and your health along the way.
Thank you. Ingrid.
In my case, what helped me to have, I have one, two, three friends I can speak out to frankly. I can cry, I can laugh. We can just, when it's not goes well, I can call them and say what I have to say, because when I keep it inside, no help. And what I think that since I start business, I became more self-development coach than ever. I try to buy book to read to help myself because it's not easy. I'm mother too, and sometimes it's not easy at all to deal with all of that. And as you said, we have to learn because it's not easy all the time. Because as a business owner, we have a lot of things to do to have them to prioritize ourselves. And also one thing I learned it is to delegate too, because what I noticed in my case that when I have a lot of things to do, I become depressed too, because it's like, how can I deal with all? And now I said, okay, what I cannot do well, I will not take the time to practice and get this ability. I will delegate to pay someone to do that, and with help, and I will reach my goal also quickly.
Thank you so much, Emma.
Wow, I'm just going to be honest here. I am that person that everyone was talking about. I work way too hard. Working is my thing. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I have a nice life and I like to keep it. I have employees and I want to make sure that they get paid, and everybody has mortgages and they've got kids. And listen, when you're CEO, it's not just like having a family, it's having an extended family that you now have to worry about. And so I'm not gonna kid you, working is my thing, and I really am trying to get to that place where, you know, I was down to 4 hours of sleep a night, and then everybody was like, this is ridiculous. And now I'm up to 6.5. I'm working my way back up to 8. Like it's a struggle. But you know, the idea is, and everyone's right, you know, you have to take care of yourself. And I also say it's harder to take care of everybody else if you're not, you know, like taking care of yourself. So I really, like, the struggle is real. It really is there. But you know, like also I love working. I really do. If I'm sad, I'll work and I feel much better. If I'm happy, I'll keep working. Guess what? I'm gonna feel even better. If I don't have any customers, guess what? I'll work, I'll get some. Like, working seems to fix every single problem I have. You know, I'm upset with my boyfriend. Guess what? I'll work, I'll forget about it. Literally, it fixes everything. So I struggle. I'm not gonna kid you. I do struggle. I've been doing this for 7 years. I struggle. I'm getting better, but it's a work in progress. And I don't know anybody who really has it all really set out. So I admire you when I'm not there yet.
So you, Emma, are not the right person to answer that question, because we were trying to get somebody to tell us not to work too hard finding that balance. But I'm you know, like I can relate to those hours of missed sleep and all that. So it's what I heard you say and what Evelyn was saying and Ingrid is it's a balance. Finding that piece that completes you, and finding that that space where you can be you for a minute before you go back to work, to maintain both your work and life balance. And it's sometimes it can feel like a moving target. Sally, do we have another question from the audience?
So one final question, how did you find your mentors in the beginning of your business?
All right. Who wants to take a stab at that first? Okay, Ingrid.
I think that there are different ways to find a mentor. It's according to everyone. LinkedIn could also be a way to find a mentor, because most of the time we know someone, or we want to to do like, and we can read that person and send him a message that I'm doing business and is it possible to you to be my mentor? I know it is one way too. Or during the networking event, you can relate to one of the entrepreneur present there. I get my first mentor in my case with Yes Montreal. And that's the way I used to get my first mentor. But before going to Yes Montreal, I know some entrepreneurs. Like I like what they do, and I reached one of them. I think that Danielle and Kat through LinkedIn. I think at that time I cannot send her a direct message, but I pay and send her an email, email. I don't know. I didn't remember the right name, but she replied to me. I think that also can be in physical. LinkedIn could help also.
Thank you, Karima.
So I think we have to. Mentorship is very personal, and what I have found is sometimes you can relate to people, but they might not be the mentor that you want. I think networking and knowing people and making sure that you don't you don't confuse with friendship or somebody who is going to be kind to you, whatever. A mentor is here to take you from A to Z, and maybe a mentor is only temporary for a specific time, and then you move on to someone else. I think what I found a lot is we see somebody on stage, we think they're really cool, and then we're like, can you mentor me? I think it's like a marriage. You need to find the right fit for you, and you also need to know that that person is not going to be nice to you. They're going to ask you tough questions. Their role is to make sure that you ask yourself the tough questions as well. So I think the best way to find mentors or people who can support you is meeting as many people as possible, and also knowing what you're looking for in those people so that you don't waste their time, because it's busy, So, and just to talk about Emma, I mean, whatever Emma said, it's me. I sleep 4 hours a day. I'm super happy. I answer to my team at 2 a.m. I'm literally on all time zones. And you know what? I actually love it. And when I need time off, I just close my computer. I tell everybody I'm going to be off. I go have a manicure, get a massage, and come back and work. That's it. I mean, my eyes is on the bigger dream, so I can't sleep while someone else is building that company.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm going to be real with you, right? It is true, I have a futon, not a futon, but like those big bean bags on at my desk. If I'm tired, I'm just going to take a power nap and go and then, speak to my friends and come back and work.
Thank you. So we're going to go like between Emma and Evelyn. We're gonna go one less than a minute each to add your final comments, and then we will. I feel like we should continue, but anyway, it's a time that
I'm just gonna say
doesn't allow us. Emma and then Evelyn.
KC's worse than me. I didn't think it was possible. I feel better about life. Oh my gosh. Okay, so for mentorship, like literally, I look at my community, who is there, I look at who is where I want to be, and then I ask them. And I look at them, like who's in my community. And what I tell people to do is, I also look on LinkedIn, like who is doing what you want to do on LinkedIn. I kind of go in, I look at what they're doing, and then I try to recreate it. And then I add them and I say to them, hey, can we meet just to get some insights? And I really do think that helps. That is a really big thing with mentors. I also have this amazing, like I am truly blessed, Black women here in Toronto, and we get together and they we talk about, how work is and things like that. And they really give me good advice that uplifts me. And I never used to be the person who uses the word uplift. And really, they're really that good. If you're in Toronto, reach out to me. I will hook you guys up in the summer. We do a thing. Anyway, I'm done now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you, ladies. Miriam, I see that you have to drop off. We appreciate you being here, and we are really concluding. So, Sabine, if you can say a few words to thank our panelists as well.
I would say a few words, but first of all, I would say that, wow, 1:30, we made it on time. So thank you so much for the moderator. Thank you so much for the panelists. I'm glad that we can end with such a beautiful comments that you've made. We've learned so much about you, but also how to grow your business, because I think that's the key that you mentioned. Yes, money, but the money is to grow the business. We don't want just a small business. We want big business. So I wish you all the best, ladies. And I'm sure you inspired so many women entrepreneurs in the audience today. So thank you so much for that. Just a reminder, I should say sorry again and apologize for the issues, the technical issues that we had, but we're going to send an email with all the resourceful links from EDC, but also the panelists, if they want to share anything, they will be sharing in this email that will follow the session. So thank you so much again. I wish you a beautiful day, and we'll see you, why not next year, or maybe before sooner than that. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good day.
You